I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to do this as a live, just to make this point. But anyway, first off, I'm headed to Alaska. I'm doing a daddy-daughter trip. My daughter invited me out to Alaska, so I'm super excited. And I've been sort of documenting my adventure. And the trip has been crazy already because I went to this deli over here, and there's a wonderful black lady who saw I left my wallet. I can't believe I left my wallet over there. And she looked inside, saw my face. I was going to go to my gate. I didn't go to my gate. I went back here near the deli and sat down. And when I sat down, the lady identified my face in the wallet. And a guy comes over and he's like, "Excuse me, sir." And I'm like, "Why is this guy talking to me? What does he want?" You know, he's handing me something. It was my wallet. It freaked me out. I was thinking, can you imagine going all the way to Alaska with no wallet? I mean, my God. So anyway, my day's been crazy already, but let me just give you guys a quick look. And I gotta go. My flight's taking off in a minute, so I'm not gonna take much time, but I have to make this point because I wanna make it clear. By the way, if you wanna know if I know anything I heard Roland Martin had some stuff to say about me this week. I didn't even watch it. I don't watch any of the internet chatter and craziness back, but I just heard about it. So, but I wanna say this, despite the fact that Roland and I have differences, he's a dedicated journalist, and I actually like a lot of what he does. I think Roland, unfortunately, he's been mad at me for literally 10 years. He's welcome to call me, but that's neither here nor there. But in case you want to know, that's what it is, you know. But anyway, let me just give you, Roland was mentioning on Twitter, and I'm glad he mentioned it, that the Black News Channel has failed. The Black News Channel's gone. I don't know if any of y'all seen the Black News Channel, but it was a great operation. It's absolutely stellar. I'm talking about top-notch black journalists doing a top-notch job. Even Mark Lamont Hill. Again, Mark is another guy who has really thrown heavy shots at me, but you know what? Mark is a smart guy in his own way, right? Ideologically, we ain't the same, but I'm not going to sit here and call the man stupid. So they had these great black people that they hired, like Charles Blow and all these, you know, really dedicated journalists. And the business just announced that they can't even make payroll. They're not making payroll. They're not getting their checks for however long it takes. I assume they're gonna get paid, but they're not getting paid right away. A lot of them were mad. That was what Roland kind of said on his tweet, that they were pretty pissed off that they weren't getting their money. And what's fascinating about it, pay attention now, they just had the best ratings week that they've ever had. Like this, you know, I guess airing of the whole thing with the Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown, Jackson Brown, you know, which you guys have mixed feelings about that. I did a survey with you guys, and about 58% of you said you're indifferent about her one way or the other. A bunch of you said you like her, a bunch of you said you didn't, but more than half of you in the poll that I took basically said, you know, it ain't much to do about nothing. It's not going to move the needle for black people. And I tend to agree to some extent. I mean, I think the symbolism of having a black woman on the Supreme Court is very important. But remember this, you've never, ever, ever in a 200-something year history of the Supreme Court ever had a Supreme Court justice who was married to a black person. You've never had that. There's a reason for that. Clarence Thomas married a white woman. Ketanji Jackson Brown married a white man. Even Thurgood Marshall married a Filipino woman. So again, this does not criticize them. This is not an attack on interracial marriage. This is more of a defense of black marriage, a defense of black family. The reason black people struggle is because your families were destroyed. That's the number one factor, the leading factor in why your wealth has dropped, why you got this chaos in the communities, why you got so many people out here struggling. It's the loss of the black family. So just understand that. The deinstitutionalization of the black community has been something that's been going on since slavery. But here's my point. Okay, so let me give you 3 quick thoughts I had in terms of why the Black News Channel didn't survive, and why I would have predicted. If you'd asked me a month ago, do you think it's going to make it? I'd be very surprised if it did. And let me tell you why. Number one, they really went big. And this is in my view, the limitations of an overly integrationist ideology. When you have an overly integrationist ideology, here's what's going on with that. When I saw the Black News Channel, they weren't out hiring people like me or whatever, right? And it's fine. I don't want a job. I don't need a job. This is not a job application. I'm cool. But they were hiring people who, you know, the types who like maybe went to Brown University and, you know, had been journalists for CNN and the New York Times. They were accustomed to working for white-owned institutions. So effectively, you were bringing in this big operation where the money had to come from somebody else. The money wasn't going to come from the black community. The money came from the Jacksonville Jaguars owner, Shad Khan. So what happens to me is that when you have an overly integrationist mindset, you tend to copy white people. So what I saw at the Black News Channel, not a criticism, not a dig. Their journalists were very thorough. They tried really hard to be balanced. They did an interview with me. They were completely fair. I have nothing negative to say about them in that way, but you can't copy white people in your business models. It doesn't work. You can't copy them. And the reason is because they have so much money. So this operation was too big to begin with. I remember sitting there thinking, they're investing a lot of money in building up this channel. Maybe they know something I don't know. Maybe they've got sponsors out the ass or something that I just am not aware of. But I would never put that kind of money into building a news operation. You know what I would do, honestly, to be real with you? Roland Martin actually has it figured out. Again, Roland, he can be a turd sometimes, but Roland has it figured out. He scaled down the cost, right? He went straight digital, straight internet. He doesn't have a massive payroll. It didn't take $50 million to start Roland Martin's operation, but Roland is effective at reaching people with reasonably good information, right? So first of all, so they were too big. When you try to copy what the oppressor is doing, you're not going to be your best self. You're not going to be your best black self when you try to imitate what others are doing. You're only going to be a cheap imitation of the original. You're only going to be a cheap imitation of the original. So the Black News Channel, to me, came off like a black CNN. CNN is expensive. You're talking about dumping billions, hundreds of millions of dollars into something that should only cost maybe a tenth of that. Number two, the money did not come from black people. The money came from an outsider, Shad Khan. Shad Khan owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. An outsider ain't going to have the same interest in investing in this company as an insider. An outsider is thinking, how can I get the bag? The outsider is thinking, how can I get paid? The outsider ain't thinking about the need for black media ownership. The outsider ain't thinking about what's best for the black community. The outsider ain't thinking about how do we get information out to our people. No, the outsider is like, how can I go in here and collect black people and sell them to corporations? I'm collecting Negroes today, and I need to go and collect some so I can sell them to the advertisers, right? Shad Khan, to me, he wasn't built for that. It's like marrying somebody who really don't love you. It's like marrying somebody who doesn't care about you, right? They care about your money, or they care about your booty size, but they don't really love you. They're not going to visit you when you're in the hospital. They're not going to stand by you if you get locked up. They're not going to stick by you if the relationship goes bad. The minute things get hard, they bounce. So this marriage, to me, was doomed in the first place because Shad Khan is Pakistani. He has no interest in making long-term economic sacrifices for the black community. Nor should he. He's Pakistani. He's probably taking care of his own. I respect that. I'm not mad at the guy. I respect that. Number three, when you're talking about investing in something as significant and something as sovereign, something as critical to black national security as the development of a black-owned media outlet, you have to have what we call a double bottom line. A double bottom line. This is a good opportunity. You guys know my PhDs in finance, and I want to help you understand. Make it clear. I'm not a capitalist. I'm not a hardcore capitalist. I believe in free enterprise. I believe in making a profit. I believe in everybody getting paid. I believe in prosperity. But I am not a capitalist, because the problem with capitalism is it is a one-dimensional beast that is hooked on economic addiction. And addiction is basically something where you have to have it in order to just feel normal. Like you used to getting high on crack every day. You don't do crack anymore because you love it. You do it because you need it. You understand what I'm saying? You need crack with your breakfast. You need the heroin just to get through the day, right? So capitalist organizations that are solely focused on a one-dimensional bottom line, according to Milton Friedman at the University of Chicago in the 1970s, have one objective, and that is to maximize shareholder wealth. That's it. They want to make the shareholders as rich as possible. They don't care about other stakeholders. They don't care about the customers. They don't care about the employees. They don't care about the environment. They don't care about the community. All they care about is getting the bag, and they need to get the bag by next quarter. If they have a couple bad quarters, they're out. You can't build businesses in your community with that mindset. You can't. You can't build the businesses with capitalist greed, because you're always going to sell out. You're always going to sell out. Why? Why will you always sell out if you think that way? Because the masses always got the bigger bag. He's always got a bag where he says, boy, you got a mighty nice business going there, boy. You're making, what, $10 million a year? Well, I'll buy your business for $250 million. Well, if all you're thinking about money, how can you walk away from that? It's like when Belle Biv DeVoe said, never trust a big butt and a smile. That means it's okay to enjoy a big butt and a smile, but you can't let the big butt and a smile be the only reason that you choose to marry a woman, right? So if all you're doing is looking at how much money you're making, then you're going to miss the other 50,000 dimensions of what it means to be a successful business in the Black community. I know businesses that are losing money that have a better impact on the community than businesses that are extremely profitable. So don't get caught up in the bag. Don't be one-dimensional. Keep all those variables in mind. That's extremely important. I'm not saying that, that the people at the Black News Channel are bad. Again, they did a very fair interview with me, and I appreciated that. I'm not saying Shad Khan is a crook. He's Pakistani. He's taking care of his own people. I am saying, though, that when you're talking about something as sacred as Black-owned media, it really needs to be Black-owned, because the person who's writing the check is the one who can stop writing the checks. So the person who is responsible for paying your bills, when they decide, I'm out, I'm done, your whole operation dies. They take their ball and go home. So when you live by Shad Khan's money, you also die by Shad Khan's money. Give me a yes in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. I gotta go get on my flight. They just called my boarding. I'm up in first class, so I told y'all I ain't into being broke. I ain't no capitalist, but it's okay to be first class. So let me go get being comfortable in my seat. I love y'all. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. And feel free to click the link in the bio. We got a lot of good stuff going on in the Black Business School this week. So feel free to jump in, and you know what we're all about. You know what we represent. And I love you guys. I appreciate you.